So I was just on a business call and the person was talking about micro learning and micro investing. And it struck me how sometimes we can put words on top of other words and all of a sudden it re-engages the brain and the conversation. So I'm going to give that a try here. Hi, everybody. I'm Kristen Graham, and this is Fewer Things Better. A little brain science, a little behavioral psychology, and a lot about habits. Think of it as headlines and highlights without all the homework. So when I looked up the word micro, it's exactly what we think it would be. It means on a small scale. How small it is really depends on us to define. So for the focus of today, I wanted to throw out some ideas around what are some things that we can micro in our life and maybe get them back in more of our own rotation. Let's start with microproductivity. I talk about this in a lot of different ways, like most important next step and the 2-minute rule. All great things. But here's another thing I've seen recently too, is that when something is visible, it's a lot more likely to become something that you do. That's why people use Post-it notes or reminders on their phones, all sorts of things. I love timers that just throw out 5 minutes because I can talk myself into doing something or starting something if it feels small enough. So when we can make things visible, that can help it move up our list. And it doesn't have to be completely done. So I'll give you an example. You can be in the kitchen and walk past the dishwasher that's clean and maybe just unload one rack or take it even more micro. Just put away all the spoons. Things that are started do not always have to be done in that moment. That's the beauty of micro. Your brain still registers it as progress, and future you doesn't have to do that step. So there actually is momentum behind it. Another element to micro is there are times where we all want to have relationships or invest more time, but we just don't have the energy for it. We don't always have to. Sometimes a text can work versus an email. In fact, I have a couple of friends where we will use the audio button on our phones and we talk to each other and we hear from each other, but just asynchronously. It's a way to still feel connected without carving out the same concurrent schedule for a phone call. Let's talk about micro health. That's another area that's everyone's always trying to feel a little bit better. Think about where are you the most? That kind of goes back to the habit stacking model of what is adjacent to us gets in our visibility. I had a dentist tell me one time that instead of lecturing her patients about flossing more, she started giving out those little flossers and saying, use these in the shower. And she said that people were reporting back like, yeah, I've actually had better care of my teeth. And she saw it too from a medical perspective because people are in the shower frequently, but flossing doesn't always cross your mind. So when she put those two things together and gave direction to it, all of a sudden, actions happened. Another way I've seen micro health work is what is nearby can be achievable. So I went through a period where I had resistance bands in my kitchen and I could just pick them up at the different weights. You can find 30 seconds. That's usually when the microwave's going, you're waiting for something, and you can just do a little bit there. It's also great times to do stretching. And how about even when you're in the car? I'm not saying stretch when you're in the car, but those are found times that you can put micro things in. I get more done when I'm driving at a stoplight or walking my dog because I can pick it up. It's a very limited amount of time, but I can do it quickly and move on from it. Much more than I'm going to remember if I sit down and I'm thinking through a whole entire list. That's also where micro learning comes in. I love books. I was an English major, but I will end up having stacks of books. But give me an audiobook as I'm driving around. It might take me 2 weeks, but I get little nuggets of learning as I go. I've also been using some AI platforms for videos or articles that I always mean to watch or read. And I put it in there and say, give me the quick summary. I can get the micro learning, the headlines and the highlights, and maybe I'll come back to it and go deeper, but at least now it's in my brain somewhere. So this micro podcast, my friends, it's not about productivity. It's actually about permission. Permission to have micro actions. You see, the things that you do, they don't always have to be all or nothing. They certainly don't always have to be hard, and they don't have to be visible to other people. It's just a way to do fewer things and then to feel better about what you've done. So if there's a little opportunity for micro in your life, find it, enjoy it, and give yourself the permission to try less things, or at least fewer things in smaller packages.